What are your comments on tonight and your resignation? What's next?
Well, my thoughts on it and comments on it is it's been a long time coming, but a hard thing to do. I've had a great career. I will miss doing police work, even though as a chief I don't do a whole lot of real police work anymore. What I do allows our men and women to do their jobs, and now we'll miss being part of the department. They're a great bunch of men and women. So what's next is relaxing for a while. I don't have any firm plans. I stayed as long as I did because I didn't want to be in that position to where I walked out of the door and had to get another job. I'm in that position where I don't have to. I got things I'll do to relax, do some things around the house, and when I get bored, I'll find something else to do. I really appreciate the commission extending my term. They did not have to do that. By ordinance, my term was due to expire at the end of April. May was important to me because May is the 12th month of my 18th year as chief, and I wanted to get into that month. And there was no pressure from them to stick to retiring then. It was up to me, and they gladly renewed my term, and I appreciate that. A lot of support from the city and the city council over the years, and including right now. So I've enjoyed the job, and I will truly miss everyone that I work with at every level.
Are you going to be part of the process of picking a new chief?
I do not believe so. I'm willing to help in any way, but I don't think that the retiring fire chief was involved in that process, and I don't think I'll be involved either. I don't know exactly how it's going to work. I'm going to assume it's going to be similar to the fire chief's selection, and I'm just anxious to see how it plays out, and I'll help in any way that I can.
Anything I missed? Anything you want to add?
No? You got anything?
I'll ask you, how hard was this? Because I know that you've been doing this for 42 years. This
Yeah.
couldn't have been easy.
No, very hard. I actually surprised myself that I was able to read the letter as well as I did without choking up at all. Very hard. Like I said in the letter, this has been my entire adult life here. I was still 19 the day I started as a police officer here. And so I really don't know another full-time life other than being a police officer and police work. And so it was very hard. A lot of people knew that my goal in the last several years was to make 40 years. The 40 years rolled around and I didn't feel ready. Thought that I still had something I could contribute, so I stayed. And it kind of struck me last winter, following the year of COVID and the year of a lot of change in law enforcement legislation and attitude towards law enforcement. Just kind of struck me. And a friend of mine once told me that I would know when it was time. And it occurred to me over last winter that it was time. So talked with my family and we came up with a plan. And this is it.
Wasn't legacy something that you'd like the next chief to carry on after you leave office?
I'm going to be honest that there's always need for change. A new chief will need to put his or her stamp on the job, on the department. But don't change for the sake of change. There's a lot of menial things that I would suggest to a new chief that they need to look at and deal with that need changing. But the biggest thing that I want whoever replaces me to remember is we work for the people. We may be appointed by a board, work for a mayor and a council, but ultimately we work for the citizens of Quincy. And if you can't keep that in mind and do things with them in mind, then you don't need the job.